Karen with Big Cartel support team here to talk about taxes, specifically our automatic tax feature. The automatic tax feature applies to all orders shipped to or within the US and Puerto Rico when the shop's currency is set to USD. And the currency setting in the admin is over here in the shop settings section. Just click that and scroll down to right here, time zone and currency. I'm located in the US, so I have my currency set to USD. If your shop's currency is not set to USD, then the automatic tax feature is disabled by default since tax remittance is the seller's responsibility in that case. Now, US tax requirements have changed for online sellers over the last several years so that online sellers are now required to pay sales tax. As a marketplace facilitator, that puts the requirement on us, Big Cartel, which is a little bit different. So we calculate, collect, and remit sales tax on all US orders rather than the seller having to do that, with some exceptions, because there's always going to be exceptions when it comes to taxes. Before we get to that, I'll explain how the automatic tax feature works. Let's say you, the seller, are located in Michigan, and I'm your customer. I live in LA, and I'm going through the checkout process. I've added the product to the cart, and I've added my address. I'm going to click over to the checkout page so we can see exactly how this looks. So I've got my product, I've got my address added. We can see that tax has not been calculated yet, so I'll click Next. And now we can see that I'm going to be charged $1.22 in sales tax. This is the rate that I pay. Keep that in mind. Sales tax is not paid for by the seller, it's paid for by the customer, and it's based on the customer's address. So this rate right here is what I'm paying as a resident of Los Angeles, specifically the owner of this P.O. Box 1. That's going to change based on where the buyer is located. So if I'm in Texas, that rate's going to be different. Let's test that out. We'll change this to a Houston P.O. Box. Okay, so I would be charged $1.03 if I was living in Houston. Again, this is not your sales tax rate, you, the seller in Michigan. It's my tax rate as a resident of Houston in this particular case. And again, sales tax is also not going to be remitted to your state, the seller's state. It's going to be remitted to my state, the buyer. So if I'm in Texas, this $1.03 is going to be sent to the state of Texas. That previous example, that $1.22 is going to be sent to the state of California. That is, again, dependent on where the customer is. Whether they're in New Mexico, Nebraska, Idaho, it's going to go to the buyer's state. That's how automatic sales tax works. Now, going back to those exceptions, there are some states that don't charge sales tax. So if you have customers in Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, or Oregon, you're not going to see sales tax tacked onto their order because their state doesn't charge sales tax. But if you as a seller are in one of those, maybe you're in Oregon, you will see your buyers have sales tax added if they are in California, Texas, Kansas, wherever there is sales tax. If they're located, they're going to be charged it. Okay. Also, if you are a seller in Alabama, Arizona, Alaska, Colorado, Louisiana, or Idaho, those are home rule sales tax states. So that means you may have an additional responsibility outside of the standard sales tax that we will not cover. So you're going to want to get with your accountant to find out what those sales tax responsibilities are if you have not already. And that is how the automatic sales tax setup works. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email us at support@bigcartel.com, or if you're logged into the admin, just click the little Get Help button at the bottom left. We are always happy to talk taxes with you.